Hello guys, my name is Michaela and today I'm going to show you a mini lesson you can do with your students to explore volume and units of measurement. So to start, this lesson has a few stages and the first one is going to be to create a king gallon or a gallon man, whatever you want to call it, to show your students in reference where these measurements are going to be, what they're going to look like in comparison to each other, and really the name of them and what they are and how they connect to our everyday life where you would see them. So here you can see I've created a king gallon. The outside is the big gallon. I gave him a little crown. There are 4 queens, which represent the 4 quarts in a gallon. 2 pints in each quart, so 8 pints total. And then these would be I call them the princess and the prince. And then they each have 2 cats, which would give you a total of 16 cups in 1 gallon. This is just to introduce your students to the idea of conversions and measurements, what you would use them for. You can kind of have a class discussion about this, I would recommend. And then you are going to send the students off to do the exploring on their own or with a partner. If you're at home, this is a great activity to do for your distance Microteach. So I would suggest giving the students guided questions of what they are looking for. So during the exploration process, they would have something to go off of. Some of these questions would look like, you could do the simple conversion ones to start to have them practice it more. So how many cups are in a gallon? How many pints are in a quart? How many quarts would be in a gallon? Just simple to start and give them those conversions that they can be thinking about throughout the process. And then I would bring in some hands-on tools, which can be anything lying around your house. You could even have some of the questions be find a gallon in your house or find what would be closest to a gallon. I know I actually couldn't find a gallon in my house, but I do have a water jug here that is 3 quarts. I have half gallon here, so that's going to be 2 quarts. I have a pint here, and I was able to find a measuring cup and half a cup and even bigger measuring cup. And I would also recommend, if they are able to have like empty ones, or I don't suggest dumping anything out, but if they could like find them in the recycling, or if you do this in your classroom, have some empty containers, that would be awesome. And then have a funnel, and you can have them do it with water, so they're really moving things around, having a hands-on experience with the exploring, seeing it with their own eyes. So if you say you had this, you could have them fill, so this is a half gallon here, so this is going to be 2 quarts, and you could have even like the pint filled and then have them funneling the pint into here to see it really does fill up halfway when you have 2 of these, or it's going to be a quarter if you have 1, and having them go through that exploration process for themselves. So the mathematical questioning would come from the worksheet experience, and then you could have, why is this unit of measurement best, or to move on for a higher level of thinking, what unit, and they wouldn't have the visual really here, but I'm sure a lot of your students have experience going in a swimming pool. So what unit of measurement would you use to measure things such as a swimming pool, or milk when you're following a baking recipe, and encouraging them to think outside of just the measurements that they're seeing in front. The multiple representations would come from having the visual aid. The reason that they're creating this at the start is so that they can reference back to it throughout the experience and throughout the lesson, and the hands-on learning piece for the students. I also saw for differentiation, I was thinking of doing like rice or sprinkles and having that sensory detail. I know that's not liquid, but it fills up pretty much the same if you're doing just a little lesson like this. For a higher level of cognitive demand, you can ask the students to incorporate fractions and multiplication and division to reach out to the mathematical links as well. If you have 4 quarts, how many pints of ice cream do you have? And incorporating other mathematical terms that way. So yeah, that's my lesson, and I would just encourage having your students really having a lot of multiple different measurements and representations of everyday things and for them to learn. So thank you for watching.